Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jamie.
I'm Justina.
And this is Just So You Know. Today, we are here with the one, the only, two fathers that created us.
The two, the only,
our dads.
My dad is Jamie.
My dad is Mitchell. They were told not to talk until...
And so we're playing the quiet game. So now the quiet game is over. You won!
Yay!
Can we get a prize?
The prize may come at the end.
Absolutely. We'll see how you guys behave on this show, okay?
Awesome.
So first and foremost, do you know why you are here in the hot seat today?
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, what's been going through your mind?
I think it's to describe our imperfection from the standpoint of, what you guys bring out to the public.
Which is?
Just as you know.
Exactly.
And veganism.
Exactly. Well, I love how you started it being vulnerable, saying the imperfections, because that's the start of accountability, knowing that there's improvement to be made. And today we really wanted to focus on our impact with you guys, because sometimes we don't have that direct feedback from people that we influence or are impressionable by. So we thought, who would be the best guest, which is our dads, because we know you guys love us, but sometimes love is not enough. So we're here to figure out
what's going on here. And
what the hell's happening.
We love you guys. We really appreciate you both. And so that being said, it's a challenge that I think a lot of our audience, our vegan friends, our other activists face when it comes to family and veganism, because you have known us since we're born.
Duh. You created us.
And so we weren't always vegan.
Right.
Correct.
So I want you to take us back in the day, okay? And we're gonna just I want to hear from you, Dad. What was I like as a kid? Does it make sense that I am the way that I am?
That's
today?
a good question. Does it make sense why your daughter is vegan?
True story. Jamie is 1 day old, and I'm changing her diaper, and she looks up at me, and she's giving me attitude.
Yeah. She was like, did I give you permission?
I was like, oh my God, what are you doing? You're 1 day old. And I looked at her, and I've told her the story before. I said, wow, you're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I was right.
You were right.
Yeah. From 1 day old, I knew she was going to have a powerful message.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. True story.
What about you, Dad? Does it make sense that I'm vegan?
It makes sense, total sense. Because when you were little, you actually loved fruits. That was the first thing you loved. It was fruits. And I noticed when I looked at you, in the middle of your forehead, you had the shape of a strawberry. And that's where her nickname came in as Strawberry. And ever since, she will always be Strawberry. And it is one of her favorite fruits, actually.
And a sweet fruit.
Or it could be bitter. It depends on the day, and that describes me. Some days I'm sweet, some days I'm sour, some days I'm bitter,
And
we get it.
But we get it. I was a fruity girl from the beginning,
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think it's we had these values in us as kids of loving animals, of wanting to be kind. And you guys are the ones that instilled those values in us. So it's you have created these monsters.
Yeah.
And so we are grateful for that, because you guys helped us be able to step outside of the status quo, be confident. And even when everybody else in the world is eating animals, wearing animals, we're able to say, no, we don't want to be a part of that, and have self-confidence to be leaders and not be part of that system.
For sure. I feel like my dad definitely supported me whenever I felt like I was an odd one out, or I was very emotional and I cared about the animals, and my dad never made me feel like I was doing too much. I felt like he always validated me, and it kind of tapped into why I feel comfortable speaking up for myself, having sensitivity, because my dad is a sensitive man, and I'm so grateful for that, because my mom is not as expressively sensitive, but my dad will embrace those things. So it like helps me feel like, you know what? I don't care if you don't like me. I know like I'm a good person and like you may not get it, but like this is who I am and I'm not going to back down from like what matters.
Well, I am curious that from your standpoints, what was the thoughts that were going through your head when we first went vegan? Maybe you could start, Dad.
Well, when you first went vegan, you were vegetarian first. So let's start with the process. So the vegetarian part still allowed a little level of comfort from my perspective, foods that you can eat that are on the vegetarian side. As the process became more strict, we had to create, I'm going to say what we'll call space, for each other so that there was a level of comfort for me as the dad and a level of comfort for Jamie so that she can, continue on her journey, which I thought was amazing and very helpful for me too, by the way. So
We'll
get into that.
But I think there was a difference from going from vegetarian to not only vegan, but vegan activist. I think going to the slaughterhouses really shifted my perspective of the urgency of these issues. And then when I would come home, because I was living with you in college, when I would come home and see the animals in the fridge after I had been out saving animals, it created this tension between us.
Right, but I started backing off of having actual meats and stuff in the fridge. But Jamie took me to a slaughterhouse and tell everybody what my reaction was. I couldn't even watch. I went back to the car.
Yeah, he went back inside the car, and I was standing there with the animals where the truck was, and it was parked outside of the slaughterhouse, and there were cows, and there were sheep inside.
No.
And I was giving them water, and I got back in the car, and I just sat and I looked at my dad, and I said, "Do you get it now? Like, do you understand?"
Well, I was crying.
Aww.
And I because then I started crying because I felt that in that moment you finally
Got to see
understood.
her. Yeah.
Well, understood is the correct part. Now I could connect.
Right.
Remember,
right.
when it's served on your plate, there's a complete disconnect, and that's part of being enlightened by somebody like you and Jamie.
Exactly. What about you, Dad? Like when I decided to become vegan or become more like an activist, more than just like not eating animals, like was there a certain moment or like what were your first impressions or thoughts?
The truth is,
The truth counts.
is that I was actually excited at one point, and at the same time I was scared because knowing my daughter, I know that war was gonna start.
Judgment.
And I know that everything was gonna change, including me eating meat. I just didn't know how fast it was going to happen in my life, but it rapidly took place quickly. And there was a lot of emotions and a lot of disbeliefs on food and
we'd fight all the time
and
about
it was
it.
and I was also trying to figure out what was the mystery, but she was not opening up at the time that she was going through this whole transition of her own, and it was
Really? You didn't know?
No, well, in the sense that you kept certain things like in her.
Yeah, I wasn't a big activist in the
Not-
beginning.
Me either.
I wasn't a big
Yeah,
activist,
not
and me and my dad
so
didn't live with
much.
each other.
So finally, I saw that the change was just coming in her just naturally.
And I've brought you to a
And
couple of marches
she
before.
did brought me a few times, and I was just not completely there. I was just still like Dad was saying, picking back from what he said, that I was still on the plate side, not looking at the slaughtered side,
I
The
think
disconnect.
the disconnect.
when it comes to
Disconnect.
family, we are close with you guys, and we know that you're empathetic. We know you're intelligent, and that's why I think we're a little bit even more hard on you both, because
Right.
we know you can handle it, and because we hold you in such high regards. I almost knocked that over for the fifth time.
Wasn't me again.
It's gonna happen at some point. We're
Okay.
gonna knock ourselves over.
We hold you in such high regards, and so when it comes to something like this social justice issue, to have you both that we adore and that we respect not change
get it.
and
Yeah.
get it.
It's like, you love me, I love you. Why aren't you getting it? If I can't get you to change, how the heck am I gonna get people who don't care about me and don't care about the animals to change? You know, it's a weird position to be in when you're like the only vegan in your family. It's very ostracizing. Like, I didn't go to my mom's side of the family for a lot of the holidays because I knew everyone's going to be on my ass and be like, oh, you're not going to get this? Why not?
Well, you could still eat sweet potato, but then there's other
not
things.
really, because they put milk in it or
Oh,
they
okay,
put
right.
butter. The little things like me and my dad used to fight all the time because he'd come home and be like, it's vegan. And I'm like, bro, there's milk in it. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, there's milk in this. And he's like, why would they have milk in it? And I'm like, exactly.
And they'll call it another name like whey.
Right, or like, who knows? Who
A
knows?
for effort.
A for
Okay,
effort. My dad's
but-
always being like, it's not. I'm like,
I struggle many times with that.
yeah.
I go to the supermarket, I'm checking, I'm like, oh, right, it's good, it's ready to go. And I get there and she says, Dad, what are you doing? This is not vegan.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I check, I did my homework. Well, you didn't do your homework right.
I'm
And
like, it says it right
okay.
here. He gets confused sometimes when it says gluten free. I'm like, bro, no, this is gluten free, Dad. This is not say vegan. I'm like, the easiest way. But now he surprises me. And he's like, yes, it is vegan. Yes, it is. I'm like, no, it's not. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's vegan.
Right, well, he makes
Good
he
job.
makes an effort to read their small print.
We've had his birthday lands around Thanksgiving sometimes. And my dad
well,
has
usually
had like,
all the time.
well, like on the exact date.
I
on
would
the
think.
exact date.
Oh,
Okay.
But it's close.
Okay.
Very close. And we've been having vegan Thanksgivings with each other. I want to say like at least 3-4
For the last 4 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
I tell my dad
Fully
every year.
vegan,
I say,
fully
Dad,
Fully vegan?
Fully
Yes.
vegan.
I tell
Like,
you
So,
every year. It's
just
me
him
or the
alone?
bird.
Him
Yeah.
alone?
me and my dad alone, it's
Oh.
been small, or like my brother or my partner. But
How did you get that to happen?
I feel like my dad. You can explain why was it okay for us to like have like so many fully vegan Thanksgivings?
Well, about 4 years ago, I'm always offered timing. Maybe
Aren't we
four,
all?
4 to 5
Close
years.
enough.
4 to 5 years close by. But I was sitting with some friends in an Italian restaurant about to have chicken parm, man, chicken parm.
Relax.
And I'm like, I had
Don't get
really
too
had it. I
excited.
really had it in for the chicken parm. And my daughter happens to call while the guy is on his way with the platter. And I'm like, that's my food. And she's like, Dad, I advise you not to eat no meat. And I'm like, I'm about to have chicken right now.
Oh my God.
And she's like,
How
Dad,
honest.
don't have no meat. You know, it's not good for you. I said, look, I'm gonna have meat to the day I die. You vegan, I support you, but I gotta go. I hanged up the phone.
I don't remember this.
And that day, I was like, oh my God, I
Felt
can't
bad,
believe the food is in front of me, and all I'm thinking about, she don't want me to eat meat. So
Good timing.
I'm literally, the timing was so perfect because I literally went to have the meat after I did my prayer, as I always do, and this meat was like rubber, and I was like, she jinxed me, she jinxed me, she jinxed me, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna totally like pass over this. So I called the guy, said, listen, something wrong. This meat don't taste right.
This
Comes
meat don't
back.
taste right.
He comes back. He says, what could I get you? I said, give me a salad. So I had a salad.
Speaking of Passover.
What?
Oh.
Who's
No,
speaking of
No,
Passover?
he said he passed over. He passed over to chicken parm.
okay.
Speaking of Passover, that was one of the times I felt really the worst because we went to a community Seder with her brothers, and she was a good sport, and she came, and part of the Passover Seder has chicken in it. A lot of it is vegan, believe it or not.
Right, vegetables.
Apples and nuts and things
Yeah.
like that. And when they served that chicken,
Trays of just birds coming
Isn't
out.
it
now this
crazy?
is here's supposed to be a good holiday for us to recall and everything else.
Right.
And I looked at Jamie, and she just turned ghost white, stood up, and walked out.
She's worse than me. Jamie is like
and
more
I felt
militant.
really bad.
Yeah.
I was a little upset being that I paid like $150 a person to be part of this. It wasn't just, I guess, the economics. I felt bad how offended she was. But I said, Jamie, you kind of knew what would be at a Passover Seder. I mean,
Right.
with a whole community. And from that point, we haven't been able to do many holidays.
I
Right,
just know
certain
my
traditions.
I know my capacity, and I remove myself from situations where, number one, I'm not pleasant to be around, and number two, I start to get anxiety over it. Like, we have certain levels of PTSD from going
Yeah.
to slaughterhouses, from rescuing animals.
Understood.
Like, it really is like, I see the dead bird on the plate, and I'm like, I see like flashbacks of them like having their throats slit.
That's
Like,
just what it is. You see it for what it is.
Yeah.
We literally chipped away at the conditioning that we've been born into. Like, this is food. Like, now we're like, holy crap, that was a chicken who didn't want to die. That I don't know when the hell it was dead. I don't know what it was eating. If it was like sick, if it was crying, and it was baked with all these other chickens, put seasonings on, and they're like, here, eat this dead body. Like, we're like, what the fuck is happening? It's so frustrating.
It's funny that you say that about dead bodies, because now I see life different.
Right.
Before, I used to be like, she's talking about, I'm just going to have my meat and that's it for my protein, right? But I realized you could get protein in different other ways.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was on the surgery and all of that and recovery, I figured, why not educate myself on health? So I started going into, nutrition, on health, on grains, on vegetables, and what's good for you, what's not. So I say, oh, where can I get my protein? Okay, well, let's go to beets, and we got almonds, and we got, all kinds of different ways to get it, and coconut, the meat of coconut is, and all these other ways. And I started cooking dinner and started creating
My dad's
dishes.
a great chef. That definitely helped him.
Dishes with veganism and no meat at all. And then Justina introduced me. It was one of those days that we had a holiday, and she served the plate, and I'm ready to eat, and I start cutting down and eating this thing, and I said, oh my God, since when you started eating chicken again? And she's like, Dad, this is not funny. And I'm like, I'm dead serious. When you started eating chicken again? She's like, Dad, that is mushroom. It's called chicken of the woods. And I'm like, you kidding me? And she looked it up. She shows me
stuff.
And I'm like, you kidding me? And I'm like, this thing is better than chicken. If this is the case, I'm eating this.
Yeah,
chicken
we
of the
had
woods.
some very good replacement chicken, which we went to that Chinese restaurant in downtown. We were amazed that the texture was there, the replacement, the flavor, everything, and high in protein. All of the stuff you think you're missing.
Amazing. Justina kicks ass making them fried. They so crunchy, so delicious.
My dad was
They're
like literally
little
inspired
chips,
that day.
like
We went
chips.
to the farmer's market, and chicken of the woods is really difficult to find. Or chicken of the woods. Hen of the woods is much easier. We'll get to the questions. I was so happy because I was like, wow, he finally sees an option of like not hurting animals and still having tasty foods.
That's
My
the
dad
key.
is like
Yeah.
sometimes against like meat alternatives that aren't whole food based. So like when he had the mushroom, he was like, oh snap, this is
This
possible
is
without
good.
all this
Well,
extra
I
process.
think with my dad, it was health that drew him in at first. So in the beginning, I would show him some documentaries like What the Health and Game Changers, and you were pretty open to learning about it. And I even took you to an event where there was a plant-based doctor there. And why don't you share how this actually eating more plant-based has helped you?
So, in truth, I was taking 4 pills a day. I was taking Prevacid every day for indigestion. I was taking blood pressure medicine for blood pressure. I was taking diabetes medicine for diabetes. And so it was a little cocktail. And I was taking cholesterol, a small cholesterol pill every day. And I worked out in a gym every day. I owned a gym. But here's the coolest thing. So Jamie gets me on this kick, more plant-based, more salads, more this, more beets, more things along those lines. Over 5 years ago, and this is all about numbers. You can't just do it if your numbers are through the roof. No more Prevacid, 5 years already. Wow. No more diabetes medicine, and no more blood pressure medicine. Gone. So when my doctor said, I said, I stopped taking the medicine. He goes, well, your numbers are perfect. How'd you do it? I said, my daughter, Jamie, got me on a much, much more plant-based diet. So every meal starts out with a giant salad. Now, I still take a cholesterol medicine, which runs in a family. It's part of the heritage. It doesn't matter.
Will you still eat
It
eggs
does
and
matter.
fish?
It does
that's
matter.
True. That's true. That's true. That
You're
that
almost
I have
there.
to
You
cop-
got one
I
more
have to
pill
cop- I have
to
to
kick
cop.
out.
I have to cop to that. But and it's only the 10 milligram. It's the lowest dose. But to get me off of 3 medicines,
Awesome.
again, I used to get indigestion from. Please forgive me. A tuna fish sandwich. I would have indigestion. That's the Prevacid.
The tuna doesn't forgive you.
Well, okay, understood. What was that? It could have been anything.
Right. We don't know what it is. It's
But
all of it.
now all of that acid reflux is gone.
That's incredible.
That has a lot to do with eating big vegetables, big plants, and you know the kind of salads that Maggie puts together. They're every color in a rainbow.
Well, I'm super curious I want you guys to take us back to your childhood. Was there ever a time where anyone from your siblings to even your parents questioned where the food was coming from? Because I think our experiences as children and the cultures that we're raised in, they shape the decisions that we make currently.
Well, based on that, back home in Puerto Rico, my mom had goats, so we used to extract the milk from the goats, right from the backyard. And I used to go with my dad up in the mountain to get watercress, right from the water. It's like water of running water, and you just pick it out, and it's so amazing. The first time I went, I'm like, we got to go in there. He's like, yeah, you got to get half of your body in there and grab it. And we did. We had like bags full of watercress and stuff like that, and go back home. And we never questioned that because the meat was in the backyard. The chickens were hanging all over the backyard and everything. So who knows what chicken was missing? We just knew it was chicken on the table, and never questioned that because we grew up based on, a
little farm.
This is This is the way you eat.
Did you see them being killed ever?
And at times I used to go up to my grandma because my grandma lived across the street, and used to go up to the mountain. It's like a little mountaintop. And my uncle used to slaughter them in the backyard. And he's so professional, I don't know how, but he skins them like skinless in one shot. And I don't know how he does it. But at one time I saw him. He twirls the neck, and then he does the whole thing, and then he takes the whole skin off the meat like in no time. And I'm like, yikes. Oh my God.
Murder.
So, but
sounds like an art.
And I was traumatized at that time because I was young. I was a kid, and I was like, oh my God. And I didn't want to speak on it because I was like, oh my God, if I say something, they might just laugh at me. But it was traumatizing for a little while until I finally caught that you got to kill it in order to eat it. And then I still didn't make nothing of it because it was like a
once you got older, were you part of the process?
Well, older, I just went to the supermarket and bought it,
Okay. I wanted to know if you were still back there helping them out.
I remember one time I went out on vacation. I was already living in New York and went back home and went out with some cousins in Puerto Rico. And we had some drinks. And on the way back, my cousin stopped to, he had to use the restroom real quick, urine, and
we understand.
And he hears this goat, he hears this
He
goat.
just
Check
had
it
to
out.
pull his pants out, take a little shit on the side.
Right?
Was it a number? Was it a number one or
One
two?
or two?
No, one.
Both at the same time?
Or three. We need to know
Check it out.
details.
So whole other night.
All of a sudden, he hears this goat, and he knocks on the door. He said, "Hey, come on!" I'm like, "What's up?" He says, "We're gonna have soup this morning." I'm like, I didn't know what he was talking about. So he had to help him get this goat off this farm in the trunk. He tied up the legs. I didn't know. We
Was
get
it
over
alive?
there. It was alive. We get over there. He lets her loose, and I thought it was fine. Oh, he just took this goat. He stole this goat. Guess what? I didn't know. Hours later, it was dinner. He's like, "Oh, soup," and I'm like, he's like, "Oh," and I was like, "Oh man, this tastes good." He said, "Oh, that's the goat we just got." I'm, what? And I actually end up puking later.
Oh wow!
And
it
I was
always
like,
in
and
your
it was
spirit.
like, it was probably within like, this is not right.
Right.
So when I went through that, it was like almost traumatized. I was traumatized.
That's a lot of meat from a goat. I mean, they didn't just make soup out of that.
The pot was as big as this table.
Oh,
it was out in the farm. But my uncle found out.
Well, I never even.
My uncle
had
found
that.
out that it was from a friend farm, and my cousin got a whipped for that.
Okay.
So that I was never exposed to that. By the way,
Right.
any pigs down there? Were you
Lots of pigs.
There's
Right.
a lot of
Lots
pigs.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, when we went to Puerto Rico one year, there was a pig and a cow in the back of my grandmother's house, and I bonded so much with those animals. Like I was giving them fruit and scraps that my grandmother
Every
was
day.
cooking every single day. It was like my mission. Like it was like
They were
my
your
life.
buddies.
Yeah, I was like, I could wake up. I could be a real Disney princess. I feed the cats. I feed the dogs. I feed the pig. I feed the cow. And my grandmother had a hard time when I was like, don't you dare put any freaking animal in the beans. Like, if you want me to eat, because I won't eat them.
Right.
And she'd give me the biggest attitude, and she'd see me every morning feeding all these animals. And I swear, I felt like I left an impact on all my family members, because that summer,
Yeah.
everybody came to visit that summer
How
for
old
some
were you?
reason. Like, that was like 4
That was-
years ago,
yeah, about-
4 or
yeah.
5 years ago.
Oh, I thought
I
maybe
I was
you were a little
vegan.
girl.
I was
Yeah.
already vegan, and my family was like, "Wow, you really love those pigs," and they were so sad for when I had to leave of what their future would be, because they were not there the next year
time.
I went.
Yeah.
And like I was happy because that my family remembers those moments. They'd be like, "Oh, remember that cow? Oh, remember that
Oh, no.
pig?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, stop fucking eating their cousins."
Actually, Justina made a song of it.
I did.
Yeah, and it was so cute. It was so funny. Everybody was like, "Whoa!"
It's in my little rapping skills, because
Yeah.
my family likes to poetry, like memorization, and I was just basically being like la puerco es tan importante, la vaca está importante, la perro es importante, and like just listing off the animals that I know how to say in Spanish and saying how they're important, and like just looking at my dad's dad, my grandfather's eyes, being like, "Oh shit, that's deep." I was like, yeah.
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
And how long you're vegan? I'm going to say it's 7 years approximately.
Over 8.
Okay, over 8. Close enough. How long?
sure?
How long are you vegan?
2018.
2018 is
January.
that 8?
Yeah,
January
believe it or
1st of
not,
2018.
it's believe it or
8?
not, yeah.
19, 20, 21, 22,
Just
23.
fact checking.
Wow, you're higher mathematics. You want a calculator? It's 2026
Oh, my
and 2
goodness.
years.
I don't know
But
the
you know
day
what?
of the week. I don't know the month.
I like to
Same
say,
here.
look, I was always vegan.
Right.
It's just a matter of aligning
The
my
realization.
actions with, because vegan, it's not what you're eating. It's not. It's actually just a rejection
Kindness-
of animal exploitation.
kindness
It's just
to
being
animals.
Right.
kind.
It's a journey. Like my vegan anthem is just in a vegan journey, because I know that as much as I freaking love animals, my dad could tell you, since I was like 1, he's been like, "Don't touch the cat, don't touch that dirty dog." But like I have just like gravitational pull, so I've always been vegan. But 2018, me and Jamie,
Oh, so it's the
low
same
key
year.
went
Okay,
around
about
the
a
same
year.
time. Something is out there in the universe, and it's up to us individually to be conscious and like have a certain growth mentality, because there's something that happens around the world that like universally we feel that energy pool to elevate, to evolve.
Go to the next level.
Yes.
Right.
And I really do believe this is a positive time in 2026 for, as a collective, to be aware of everything. Because right now we're like, what the heck is happening? That we can also say, how can we make that change individually? And veganism is the easiest,
It's easy.
most tangible way that you can instantly get results and know for a fact every night you made a difference and you impacted lives and you saved lives. Because I've been vegan as long as Jamie has been, but since I was 15 years old, like 2003,
You were already thinking about
I
it.
was like wanting to be vegetarian. I was crying. I was telling my family, "I'm going to be vegetarian." They supported me, but they didn't know how fully, because they had to change themselves. You know what I mean? To really support me. So
Yeah, going
been a
vegan,
journey.
It's not hard. The hardest part for me is dealing with the people around me.
I was going to say,
100%.
that's the biggest challenge.
Yep.
It's
The pushback.
really
lifestyle.
I mean, there have been I think out of anything between our relationship, the biggest cause of fights between us has been about veganism.
right.
There, I
Lately.
remember
We don't fight at all.
we don't.
We when she comes into the house,
Not anymore.
I love
You
it
know
to
now.
be all, or for the most part, vegan.
Right.
Our breakfasts aren't perfect, but everything else we cook for dinner and everything else we'll go shopping, and
Yeah.
she's an amazing cook.
That's great.
I relish seeing the recipes and I love the taste and all of that. Do I embrace it on a regular basis? No, but I love when we cook tofu mixed with mushrooms and onions.
Why,
and,
Dad? Like,
Yeah.
what is
What's
what
the
is holding you back?
disconnect?
Wait, let me ask. What exactly is the challenge? Like, I don't understand.
Variety.
Like, you know the information.
and processed food.
Okay.
I don't want to.
That's fine.
I don't want to keep cooking Impossible Burgers when I know they're
You
Beyond
know
Burgers.
that's not what I eat.
I know, but I need some kind of substitute. If I'm going to make like a pasta with say a meat sauce, and I want to make it vegan, I'm going to use Impossible Meat or whatever,
Right.
and just tomato sauce. So for the most part, I mean, it's really vegan and it tastes amazingly good.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that I'm trying to get away from the processed.
Well, I will
aspect
say
of it.
this because sometimes it's harder to hear from someone who's close to you the words. But like, one, you can't say it's vegan. Vegan is like the totality of everything. Everything is like vegetables for the most part, except for when you introduce the animal, right?
Right.
But the animals are processed. My dad's the same way. They are processed. You are not getting one happy, loving, clean, non-diseased cow. You're getting about 100 sick, shit-fed, tortured, negative, evil
Bacteria,
energy and bacteria. You have no idea when they're dead and who the fuck from what country of the cow could possibly be in there.
Rounded together.
That is processed. And then they make it look like it's fresh because they've conditioned us to what a fresh dead body looks like. So it's like when Jamie's like, Dad, stop. It's because she cares and like you think that that's more processed because that's what they sold to us. But I promise you, it's probably less and it's definitely healthier. Yes, it's not the healthiest, but then that's another level of like, then no sort of meat, period. Maybe you use zucchini
Sweet potato.
Yeah, getting your brain to detox because I was addicted to food. There are addictive properties in everything. My dad's obsessed with fucking cheese. And yesterday I had to break down to him.
Cheese.
He used to be like, wait, it's just not
I love
vegan?
aged cheese. I get it in Little Italy, but it's aged cheese. It's not your just regular cheese.
Can you give me the address?
You know,
The whole point.
Otherwise, nobody's going to watch this.
The whole point is that cheese is addictive because it's made for their babies to have the addiction to grow and be fed as an infant. And then that's not even what you're getting. You're getting, when you say aged, it's aged, not just regular cheese. That means it's spoiled. It's rotten. It was rotten titty milk that's been bleached, that's been masked to look like it's tasty. And like we could go down the history of
aged,
how cheese has been so popular and ingrained in our culture, but it's like profit. They don't care.
The way I see it is if cheese is the closest and the worst thing for me right now, I think I'm in a good area.
You're making progress.
I'm making totally 99% progress because I was 198 pounds.
Yeah, that's true.
Before I even went anywhere.
Lost a lot of
and
weight.
I used to eat everything in the mother that was in sight. If it was there, I eat it. You know? And I changed my ways after I had those 3 experiences because I also had experience with meat. And then I said, you know what? Maybe it's a message. Through my daughter, there's a message. And I decided to go veggie and stop the meat. I cheated here and there because in the beginning it was a process, but naturally I stopped eating meat. I don't claim myself vegan, but I have made a total change in my life, which I don't eat a lot of products and I don't eat meat the way I used to back in the days. Matter of fact, I haven't been eating meat for the last 8 months, and fish. In 2 months, I'm actually holding myself for this. In 2 months, I make 1 year that I haven't totally eaten fish, and 2 months, 2 more months, it makes it 1 year for me. And I was totally surprised because I like fish, and for me, fish is protein. But I have naturally like shifted away from meat. Period. And matter of fact, a friend of mine was meeting me in Little Italy for cheese, right? We were going to get cheese, and I'm standing there waiting for him. I'm like, damn, this dude is late. So I called him up. I said, bro, you don't understand the amount of animals that are dead over here. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's an animal lover, too. He's like, yo, I'm on my way. He shows up. He's like, where are the animals? I said, look behind you in the window. All the hanging there, you know, all the ducks and, you know, all kinds of animals. In China, no, in Little
Italy.
Italy.
It's basically like Chinatown.
And, in Little Italy, and I'm like, he's like,
They're
oh
next
my
door to each
God,
other.
and I'm like, dude, don't you understand that the animals are dead? They are right there. Now I didn't see the process before this way. Now I seeing it this way, and I say it's a big change for me in my life. So what I'm saying with that is, I naturally shave all this weight off naturally by just getting off the meat, by just getting off the meat, and guess what? Processed food. After 2 months, I stopped eating processed food. Guess what? I learned that processed food does not allow you to process. That's it. It's so simple.
Exactly.
It doesn't allow you to process.
True.
And when I stopped eating that processed food, I was like, wow, now I'm seeing better. I'm
your
I'm
brain.
able to hear a little.
But you're also seeing outside the matrix.
seeing out
You're
of the
seeing the
matrix.
animals
And
for
I-
what's
yeah.
actually happening.
And I
And
said,
there was a
wow,
time
what a
where
change.
you went to a dinner at one of our family members' houses where they were serving something and you had an uncomfortable conversation. Like maybe you can share a time that you defended veganism and how you felt about that. And remember after National Animal Rights
He's
Day?
like, what?
Oh, after National Animal Rights Day, yes.
He came
I
to
go-
the
and
march.
this family member follows Jamie, and they invite us for dinner, and they don't ask because we're really not eating beef and meat and whatnot, and we're more pescatarian oriented and whatnot. And the family member has 4 giant steaks that look like Fred Flintstone steaks. And Maggie and I looked at each other and said, I said, I'm sticking to the salad and the potato. And so I said, cook up half of that, cook up half of one, and we'll split it. And then because we didn't eat it, I just left it on the plate. I didn't eat it. And I ate the potato. I was great. And I ate some extra salad, and I was great. They completely turned on us.
Oh, shit.
And called us out like, why aren't you eating? I said, well, you know what? We're not really big meat eaters. And it was almost as if, and I hope they see this podcast, it was almost as if they deliberately, having known that we were just at the animal rights conference the week before and helping out and pitching it, deliberately put that in front of us without saying, hey, what would you guys enjoy eating? So what's happened since then, and that is going on it's going to go on 2 years, it completely disbanded a great, well over 60 plus year relationship. And I got to be honest with you, I cannot allow, and I told Jamie the story, hey, how come you're not speaking to so-and-so and so-and-so? Or I don't hear much about them. I said, well, this is what happened. And Jamie was very proud that we just stood up. I said I wasn't
So proud.
looking
Awesome.
for,
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do it.
Awesome.
And I said, so you know what? Instead of them like chilling out and saying, okay, and the husband actually said to the wife, you know what, maybe you shouldn't serve that to them because I've had this conversation with her before. This is not something that we really, enjoy and partake in on a regular basis. Don't ask, not a great host, but you know what? When they came to my house for breakfast, I asked them, what kind of bagels do they want? Like, what flavor of bagel? Bagel, because I wanted to be a good host in that sense.
Right.
And to this day, they still hold that day against us.
That's
so we
crazy.
really
Welcome to
don't
our
get,
world.
We don't get together. So
Yeah.
I was, you know what? You know how you got ghosted? I got the feeling of what that was like from
For
this
sure,
incident.
dude. You have to change your whole lifestyle and be okay with losing. Not
Friends.
even losing, but like
Friends, dear friends.
outgrowing,
Family members.
Exactly.
You gotta understand when it comes to change of health, especially with eating meat, you're gonna have a lot of enemies.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a lot of people. They are very start disliking you
Yeah.
because you have changed. And you know what the change comes from? It comes from you elevating your spirit, elevating your energy, and going to a different vibration.
Yep.
And therefore,
You gotta grind.
Therefore, people are like,
You gotta
"Oh my
hold
God,
your
this
ground."
guy, this
Yeah.
guy, like, what's going on? This
do.
guy don't eat meat no more."
You know what it
she
is?
said? She wait. I don't want to interrupt you. You know what she said? You hurt my feelings. I go, what?
What are the cow's feelings?
I go. I
like, you
your
hurt my feelings.
because I'm not eating this, but I'm eating the
That's
salad
so
and the
crazy.
potato. And I go, well, and you know what my answer was? I said, well, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings,
Right.
and I can't eat something that I just
Can't
wasn't
force-
feeling
it's
good
like forcing
about.
someone to take a shot. Like,
You hurt
it
my
was my
feelings.
birthday, and like, I'm gonna want to buy you a shot, you know? And I'm like, no, I'm thinking, I don't want to drink that. No, you're gonna take a shot. You're like, whoa,
Speaking of
dude,
shot,
you look crazy.
I didn't take the shot. They also called me out for not taking the shot.
Yeah, well,
that I'm being selfish.
dude, those are little moments that you have to realize, like my dad was saying,
The
that
whole
people
control
want
thing.
you to stay at a certain vibration. And when you decide to do something better for yourself or be more aware, people get defensive because they can't do it.
Because it's their
And
own
they
guilt.
don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And it makes them question themselves like, oh, you think you're better than me? And often that's what we go through all the time. And it's crazy how often we get told that we're being selfish, we're being judgmental. But when
Right.
you step
I
back,
got a
all
piece of
we're
that.
doing is being like, we love them. We don't want you to eat them. You're eating a dead body. And you're hurting them or being a part of their hurt, and you're hurting yourself, and you're being a part of hurting the world, and you're hurting my feelings.
Yeah.
Because you're acting like I'm not looking out for you. You know what I mean?
You have to have broad shoulders to take the abuse.
I
took it one
mean,
night.
pop,
I took
pop.
it one night. I took it one night, and
It's hard.
I was having so much fun. In fact, we were drinking some vodka,
right.
and I think my cousin gave me a gummy. I mean, I was having.
Okay.
I never had. Oh, I forgot
Okay.
on my camera, but I, had a gummy. I was feeling no pain, and then the next thing you know.
They're like, you don't want to eat dead
They
bodies?
shrunk my head.
You don't want
They're
to
like,
eat dead
"Oh, my-"
bodies? You don't want to drink the alcohol poisoning?
No.
Get the fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
well, basically, I go home instead of like being like all happy from the evening. I
Right.
go home, I was like sad.
So being that we deal with this on a day-to-day basis,
Not
what
fun.
would you guys say is something that you admire about the work that we do? I'm curious your opinion on it.
you can, and then I'll tell you what I think.
I admire the work because it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to not only stand up for yourself, but to stand up for the animals and to stand up for the world, because everybody is in a different page. And that, like I said, the vibration, the energy is in different levels. And I noticed that when I was eating meat, my vibration was way low. And when I ate rice and beans and chicken or beef or whatever, I fell asleep like right away. I was tired. I was sluggish. I was like, damn, why am I so heavy?
Right.
And
rice and
then
beans are good for you.
having for breakfast, I changed the game, guys. I have lettuce, salads for breakfast.
Yeah, he's healthier
fine.
than me.
And,
He juices.
and
I'm
I
like,
have
oh.
soup for breakfast, juice for breakfast. And I feel like my energy level goes up from the morning. And I advise everyone to stretch, because besides eating vegetables in the morning and stretching, your level of energy goes up high for the whole day.
Honestly, I feel like he's just inspired. That's what
For
it
the
is.
whole day.
I feel like it inspired him to tap into parts of himself that no one around him was like allowing him to live. And I'm like, my dad will say stuff to me. I'm like, I know, Dad, but I'm
Right.
glad you're
Right.
coming
Yeah.
around.
I'm going to
Absolutely.
answer that same
Answer
question.
that question, yeah.
What I admire most is your ability to take the rejection.
Yeah.
Because nobody likes rejection. And I've seen Jamie on the streets where people will walk by and go like this, that kind of thing. And she'll go, "Thank you, and you have a good day too." In other words, the way
That's
she
the
handles
attitude.
it,
That is
the
the
way she
attitude.
handles it, because your message is going to be rejected by 80 plus or 90% of people who are not going to cop to being vegan or want to be vegan, but yet you're putting that message out because, like you say, Rosa Parks started someplace, and,
Right.
and she changed the world and these kind of things. So you're at the beginning, the cusp of it,
Right.
and the way you handle it, both of you, and I see obviously more of Jamie. I'm more astounded because I would get angry and want to give them the
Oh, we get
response.
angry. We get angry. It's a process. And it's like,
Especially at first.
The comical stuff you guys do is the best.
We
I
have
could watch
to.
that over and over and over again.
thank you so much. We
Yes.
need to be, because we don't want people to think the stereotype of like what a vegan is. Like stinky, weirdo,
Green
like
armpit hair.
No,
dying,
not at all. Look at
cranky,
you two.
screaming. Exactly. And it's true. It does take a lot of courage and
Broad shoulders.
broad shoulders for getting rejection. I mean, Jamie and I, we both have an arts background. So like we kind of grew up in that conditioning of knowing that like you have to
Rejection.
fight for it, and like no does not mean that you're wrong or you didn't do enough. And I think that, I don't know, for me for sure that played a part of like, oh, that's part of life. And we both have two tough dads, so like it's like instilled in us, but it does take a lot. It does take a lot. Jamie is out on the streets doing it in her face. It does, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like we know what we're gonna get.
I would say no matter what, don't get discouraged. Keep up the attitude. You know, don't let people bring you down because you already know it's coming.
Right.
You know?
Thank you.
And
Gotta keep the message out going.
All you gotta do is remember that if they encourage you to stop, it's because you're doing something right. You
Okay,
understand?
I want to say something because y'all are sounding lovely. I'm like,
I
are
love it.
y'all
Keep it coming.
rehearsed?
Keep it coming.
Because I want to know. I'll start with you, Dad. I know there's so many reasons why you're not vegan, but like, what is like the number one reason that's stopping you? Like, is it just because you need more time? Is it because you need to work on discipline? Is it because of accessibility?
Social pressure.
Social pressure. Listen to me. What's the reason why you haven't really dived into veganism?
You guys know the information.
The truth of the matter is that I really haven't thought about it like that. I just feel that I don't feel no pressure. I don't feel obligated. I don't feel like I gotta prove something because you vegan. It just naturally has fallen, and I have my options, and I know what's best now to eat. So I don't really kind of like look at the meat the same way because.
But what's stopping you? What's stopping you from being like? Because there is pressure.
What's
We're gonna get to
stopping me
you
that's
too.
Really, I really don't have an answer
I'm
for that.
winding up.
I don't have an answer. I cannot say because of the me. I love the me because of the this or that. It's just naturally I'm just, let's say, freelancing. Just know that I don't eat the meat and just watching what I'm actually putting in the body.
but you're still not answering my question like a guy.
You're sidestepping.
You're going around. You're going around the
I'm
question.
waiting to hear you answer.
Because I've been listening to both of y'all,
Yeah.
and there's a lack of urgency, which is what me and Jamie, like the whole point of veganism is there's an urgency because it's not. Yes, you have to go at your own pace. It has to make sense in your head because this is a long-term thing.
Commitment.
Yes,
Lives are at risk here.
our lives are at risk, and so
Animals, too.
there's a lot of like, well, you know, slowly this that I don't feel the pressure that triggered me, and it brought me back to something you said too, and I'm like, y'all are missing the whole point. Is that like this is a call to action immediately, because the more lives we save, the more time we get on this planet, and the more you can be effective to create that chain reaction. So it's like, why don't you get that urgency? Because it's like it matters. You can make such an impact. You don't have to be an activist, but like going vegan and like standing up and like resisting and having discipline to not partake in that kind of not mindful lifestyle is so urgent, which is why Jamie's out there on the street, which is why whenever people are asking about my art, I'm like, also animals, because it's so importante.
I want to add to what you said, because you didn't give a real concise answer.
Yeah.
Here's a concise answer.
Tell me.
Your message, if it helps cut down 66% of the percentage of people that are consuming meat, you are making tremendous headway.
100%.
So start with, you are effective, both of you.
I'm like, I know what
You
you're
are both
saying.
effective.
But we're not talking about people, we're talking about you guys.
No. Now I'm
Go
going to
there,
get
go
to
there,
it.
go.
So I'm going to go there. And he didn't go there, so I'm going to go there. Why haven't I made the total commitment? It's a multiple combination of several things. It's the company that I keep, many friends who I'm around who are not that. It's what they're serving, which, and I'm going to say it, I happen to like. I grew up with. I like the taste of. Now, in my own personal life, so I'm out and about, and so that's what's being served, and I happen to like it. And in one instance in the story I told you I wasn't going to do it because I didn't like it. I didn't want to. So nobody's going to force me. But I make a conscious decision of, in my own house, in my own space, not having it there, not putting it as much there. In some of my social formats, in my social space, going to a holiday dinner, which I don't get invited to anymore anyway, because nobody likes me in the family. Good. You know what? No, that's a whole nother story. That'll require, like therapy for that.
So that's perfect. You can do your own plant-based holiday dinner.
Exactly. So I've already freed myself of that. But again, I'm not used to having, and I'm going to bring up Thanksgiving without a traditional fare.
So it's
and
convenience. It's convenient.
It's not so convenient because
when you're out to dinner with friends and they're bringing out that food, it's the convenience and lack of discipline.
Family style, I truthfully enjoy. You asked the question, so I'm going to give you the answer.
You like
it. I enjoy the taste.
Yeah,
but
we did too.
Have you not made the connection that it's a dead body? Does the dead body part not bother you?
Okay, that's a great question.
Yeah.
When Jamie has taken me to the sanctuaries, and I'm standing there,
you're like, cutie pie.
The lambs and then the bull and Ricardo and all of this. The last thing I want to do is go home and eat a lamb chop,
right? Because
I'm connected, and for quite a long time. In fact, I don't remember the last time I've had a lamb chop. Maybe 2 years, but 2 years. It's 2 years.
Yeah,
Again, you're all about making an impact, so that in terms of you can't convert the whole world, but if you reduce the imprint of people who are consuming meat by even 50%, do you know how many lives you've saved?
That's not something
success.
That we question. We
You
know
have to
everything
look at
matters.
numbers.
Everything
matters.
No, 100%. But what's bothersome and why we have you guys here today is because you are our fathers.
Right.
So we want to know why our own father doesn't want to join that statistic with us that we have invested our entire lives on, and speaking so clearly from the heart. If anyone's gonna know our heart, is y'all. So why
you guys know us the best.
Yeah, why is the social gathering, why is because I like it, not connecting Ricardo and his suffering when you are at those dinners?
See, here's the pressure.
But men have an issue with pressure.
I don't want to be pressured.
But the pressure's on, though, guys.
Even
the pressure's on.
You know how they started out by saying, "We're your daughters," and how come you're not listening
that's
to
a fact.
us?
Okay, can I just say something here?
But I'm not going to listen to everything that she
Of course. Let me just say one thing.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
I actually don't see it as me converting people at all.
No.
I don't see it as me forcing this on anybody at all, because the truth of the matter is I can't force you. No. I can't force you. I can't force you to do anything.
Zero.
You have the information, and what you choose to do with that, it's completely on you.
Right.
And I've tried to, over the years, take my ego out of the activism and realize okay, I'm not going to be the one to change the world. I'm just going to do my best, act from a place of love, provide an example of what healthy, kind living could look like. And so I mean, we do really appreciate the progress you guys have made, and I see
Tremendous
it.
progress.
Tremendous progress. And we are gonna keep showing you the way, because we love you guys, and we know that you're smart,
you can do it,
and kind, and that it just seems to align with you already.
It's all Lewis's fault.
My brother.
Her brother. No, he's the worst influence on everybody.
Yeah. So I do want to quiz you guys real
quick.
quick.
What were you gonna say, Doug?
I was gonna say, bringing it back to the trip we went to Puerto Rico. That you was feeding the pig and the cow and stuff like that. That trip, to be honest, did a big impact in me as well, because they allowed me to connect with the animal, truly connect in the sense of recognizing. And that's why I haven't been eating meat. I believe now that I was thinking about it, made sense to me that why I haven't really wanted, desire having meat. And part of it was the connection of the animal. We went to one of those sanctuaries, and it was a beautiful cow that I have always wanted to see again. So beautiful that it impacted me in the sense that, how can you look at an animal and have love for it and then sit in the table and eat it?
Yeah, you ain't vegan. You ain't vegan that
that was a big impact for me. And I was like, damn, how can I be a hypocrite doing that? And then sit there and look at my daughter and be like, yeah, I don't eat meat. And meanwhile, I'm in the back chopping it up. So I was like, you know what? I got to be honest with myself.
Be true unto thyself.
In order for me to move forward, I got to be honest with myself. So when she answered the question, I don't feel guilty. You know what
There's
I mean?
a famous animal.
But I'm still. I'm still in the process of getting
Yeah, I know, because nobody's perfect, and they're not perfect either, even if they're vegan. That doesn't make them perfect.
Of
That
course, no
just
one's
makes
claiming to
them
be
kind to
perfect.
animals.
Right.
Now, when we went
just
to the
makes them
sanctuary, which
healthier.
I love to go with Jamie, I even bought my own special boots that are for the sanctuary because you are stepping in different poop and whatever. And just wrestling with the famous, his name is Ricardo, that's the bull that escaped. He's a longhorn that escaped and was running down the tracks in Newark, and he was rescued. Right. And he's my buddy. He lets me grab his horns, and that's an incredible connection.
Yeah. We
So
need more of that.
You have to do more of that to understand, because when it's served to you and it's covered in red sauce and Parm, the mozzarella cheese, you don't think of it as a little guy that was running around, picking up corns,
It's true.
And so that helps tremendously, and that's why we do it
Often.
We want to do it more often. She's been traveling the world, as you know.
It's true.
And we want to do it together.
Well,
so that
I
we
mean,
can-
you guys are such supportive parents, and honestly, there's a lot of people that we know that their parents are not supportive at all and don't even have any plant-based products in the fridge. And so just throughout our journeys with this, I remember being vegetarian back in high school, and you always made sure that there was a veggie burger for me and cooked it, and you did support me along the way. You did support me in that, and for that I'm so grateful, because I don't know if I could be sitting here today hosting a podcast with you and being out on the street doing what I do if I didn't have that support throughout the years. So thank you.
And think about how we grew up, that you become so indoctrinated from the time you're a little kid that the fact that you both made changes, well into your lives, 8 years ago, you were still young women. Yeah. That to me is fascinating. Not to have a this or a that or something you grew up with.
We got lucky. We got really lucky. And I take that in consideration all the time. My dad was born in Puerto Rico, in the country, with a farm, a home-based farm, basically. So I always take that in consideration. But my dad definitely, I feel in order to bond with me, definitely jumped into
an effort.
Plant-based lifestyle. If anything, reminding me to keep juicing. And my dad's low-key herbologist. He loves herbs. He's did you know that this do moringa? And I'm okay, dude. Yeah, and the teas and so I'm so glad that he doesn't, because I'm don't you dare say you're vegan, boy. I'm gonna slap that word.
I want to come back to you taking wheatgrass shots. When is that gonna happen?
Actually, I do something even better. I take a wheatgrass 2 pills every day,
you do?
every single day, for gut health.
Wheatgrass.
Yeah, because I'm not, and I happen not to mind the shot. Meaning
Really?
mixed up.
That
I
will
like
make
it.
me sick.
It's kind of greenish tasting.
you.
It's excellent. I just do it in a pill form with my other vitamins, and they're all organic and they're all this. It's just easier to take.
Yeah.
But Jamie will tell you, and thank goodness, it's good for gut health, as you know, wheatgrass and things like that. Yeah.
Well, piggybacking from that, a friend of mine we've been debating about that for about a year now, about the wheatgrass. And I told him everybody's system is totally different. What works for you might not work for me. And we have had those shots many times, and it gets me sick.
It gets me so sick.
And I said, you know what? The same thing as spirulina. No good for me. I have had it different
You mean
times.
sugar? The sugar substitute?
No. It's a spirulina. It's a herb. It's a herb.
Oh, it's an herb.
It's an herb that it form in powder, and it doesn't work for me. So certain things don't work for certain things might not work for you. That work for me.
That's good. Yeah.
So people have to understand that what works for you might not work for me, and you have to be compassionate that, hey, that's what works for him. More power to him.
Yeah,
If
not
you ask
every
me one of
vegan
my
cheese
big,
is the same.
I know I didn't create a rocket ship to the moon, but if you ask me what is one of my most proud changes in life, this is already many years, is absolutely going to almond milk, because I love milk. And rarely, if ever, unless I'm desperate, and in some kind of 7-Eleven, will I put a drop of milk in coffee. Everything is plant-based, almond milk. That's what we keep in the fridge.
Yeah.
And so that was a really big change. And even though I was drinking skim milk, I said, it's skim milk. It's skim milk. And then Jamie educated me. She goes, Dad, how many hormones are in there. And so that was a big improvement in how I felt, because milk was not working as well for me as the almond milk. And this is now at least six plus years.
Yeah. So I figured as we begin to wrap things up, we just do a little quiz. It will be multiple choice, so don't sweat it. The first question is...
She's really good at coming up with these quizzes off the top of her head.
Well, we'll see. But we'll start with, I think, an easier one, okay?
Drums.
What happens to male baby chicks in the egg industry? A, they get to go swim in a pond. B, they are ground up alive first day of life. C, there are no such things as male chicks. Or D, all of the above.
B.
What?
B. No, are you crazy? They go swimming in the pond? Are you not
He wasn't
memorizing?
listening.
Are you
That's
not?
not even
What are you,
He wasn't
short-term
listening.
memory
Yeah.
loss?
He failed.
Those
He's failing class.
those vegetables aren't helping the mind.
Yeah.
Okay, they get ground up. That's what they do.
Okay, ding, ding, ding. Okay, we got one.
You're
job.
right.
We got
No, yes, go swim, you little chickies. Go.
swimming.
Remember that when you eat those eggs.
Yeah.
Oh, you see?
Yeah.
That might have been a trigger to get you there.
Oh, you tricked
Okay, wait,
You
I'll ask
tricked
it.
me.
I did have no idea.
Yeah,
what
tricked you.
You snookered me.
I'll ask you another question about eggs. Okay. Where do the eggs come from? A chicken's butthole. B, they just fall from the sky. C, they grow on trees.
I'm done.
Or
Don't answer. It's a trick question. And I'm going to explain why. It does not come from the tuchus, if I may say, from the ass. There is a separate sleeve that it comes from.
But it's the same
I've
hole.
educated. It's
Okay.
around the same hole. It's not the same hole. They're not crapping out
Yes,
an
they are.
egg. There's a separate sleeve that it comes from. Research it, because you know what?
I know, I'm going to believe Jamie
No,
more
yeah.
than you.
How
I'm
much you
sorry,
wanna bet on
man.
this? How much are we betting?
When Jamie told me this,
You were like, investigation.
I was like, can't be, because
Not
that
the
almost made me
butthole.
give up. That almost made me completely give up eggs, which I really have because I do get the just eggs.
Okay.
They're always in the refrigerator. But I went like this, and it explains that it doesn't come out of the
there's tubes,
where
but
the
it does-
poop
I
where
will
the
have
poop
to
is.
agree. I will have
Where
to
the
agree
poop
with
is.
that.
It's
I will
not
have
coming
to
out
agree
of
with
the-
This is
that.
not coming out of the butthole,
Yeah,
not the
it's-
butthole
but it's-
track,
all right.
but the butthole.
this is
Yes.
not up for debate, okay?
No, it's a sleeve by the
It's
button.
A sleeve.
I agree.
I see, but he's like, if it's worded a certain way, I'm gonna go with that.
You got the answer
He's like,
wrong.
it's a sleeve, not the internal track
But
of
if
the
we really
butthole.
want to narrow it
You're
down,
not-
it does come out of one area,
You
only
use-
one
Exactly.
area,
You
which
use
is the
the
back.
F-bomb, so I'm going to use the...
We could use
they are-
F-bomb.
Okay, I'm not going to use the F-bomb.
Okay.
But I am going to say they are not shitting an egg. They are producing
They're
an
birthing
egg.
an
They're
egg.
birthing
Out of
an
the same
egg
butthole.
but not out of the same... Because it's...
I mean,
Now,
anything
maybe...
coming out of
Now,
a
watch
hole
this.
is disgusting.
Now,
Even
maybe
the
Coming
mouth.
out of
Now,
the
maybe-
same exit, but it's like
Okay, here's
Dad
an
said, it's two
open-ended-
different
Connected.
entries.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Right?
there's
It's
an
two
en-
Now we're
Thank
gonna
you for your
Entries
answers.
on
I
that
have
part.
one more
Entries
question.
that-
This is an open-ended question. It's not multiple choice. Are you ready? The question is, what would you say to somebody that says, but it's the circle of life. Lions eat other animals. Why shouldn't we? Who wants to answer this?
Well, I can answer it. Some animals are carnivores, and some animals are herbivores, and some animals, the strongest ones, like Jamie said, are vegans. The horse, the gorilla, the elephant, they eat plants. So the answer is, we are as a species somehow connected to eating an animal, eating a vegetable, and I believe that you can balance it and moderate it so that you do make a change in the world. In other words, if I was eating meat every day, all day long, blah, 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 sandwiches, I would say that I'm not helping make an impact. Right. But when I go into a sandwich shop and I'll say, yeah, I'll take the lettuce, tomato, onion, throw in the, the spinach and all of that, and I take out a nice sandwich, I feel good about making the difference. When I used to go,
sandwich?
Yeah, when I used to say, I'll take the turkey with the tomato,
Right.
Yeah.
So those are changes, very conscious, good changes that have occurred because of Jamie, because of you, because of everything
Because of
that I've
you.
been subject to.
You're the only one that can stop yourself.
Because
you
I've
know?
been willing.
It's because of
Right.
you.
Well,
You've been
And
willing.
what would you say to that person?
I would say, picking on that, I would say that the same as human, the same as animals,
Right.
the divine king has given us a free will to make choices, radical choices. And when we recognize things and we come to terms and we realize, damn, I see that I'm making the wrong mistake, it's your free will to say, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna totally stop now because I have the control in me. I might have the desire. The brain is telling me the chemicals that they're putting in the foods are telling me have it, but I still have the control to say no. And I've done that many times. I said, nope, not today. And I say it to the enemy. I say, you're not going to attack me today. Maybe tomorrow, but not today. And I don't have it. And I say, thank you, King, for giving me the divine strength to have that free will to say no more.
You know what? You're hitting a good point, because if we like to see humans as superior, the thing that is different is that we do have the conscious questioning of choice.
Morality.
Absolutely.
Right. So in the circle of life, we've been blessed with good, bad, right, wrong, all, or just selfishness. And in the circle of life, we've been blessed to live right now, and we have the option. We don't act like a lion. We don't act like those carnivores,
carnivores,
because
right.
we're not carnivores at all.
One more question for you guys.
Okay. That's
That's a good
not
answer.
one for you guys.
I like that
Yeah,
answer.
you know, you guys
are doing
We've
a
been-
great
we've been
job.
lied
We
to.
could
We've
bring
been
them
lied to.
on the streets with
You
us.
can come back.
The truth
I'll
is,
go
we've
with
been
you.
lied to about me. You know.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know,
About everything.
and I realized, look, there's another thing
Should I think
happening
these are
right
more
now,
for us?
that we are getting distracted with the war deal type of thing, but we're not seeing that they actually approve now for us to have fake milk, and you wouldn't even know if it's real milk. That
But
what's
what's
coming down the
fake
pipe.
milk, Dad?
Well, I'm just saying.
What's fake milk?
It's real
I'm curious.
fake.
Fake
It's real
milk,
milk. It's
fake
powdered.
milk is a process that's, I don't know exactly right now. I will have to do my homework, but I recently found out that they accepted, they approve fake milk. So that means
But what is
that it's
fake
gonna,
milk?
let's
Like
say
fake
created
cow
in a
milk?
lab, created in a lab, right? Created in a lab that is not coming from the actual animal.
Right.
And you're gonna taste it, you're gonna think it's real milk, and it's not. And meanwhile,
He's kind of talking about like the
you know, so
Powdered
cultivated
milk.
meat
it's the
stuff.
same thing the way they've already approved the meat. We're not
Right.
gonna know what
Here's
we're
the
eating.
thing. Let's
So
just
the
remove
best
animals
thing to do
from the
is
equation.
to stop eating meat, and we'll
Right.
save ourselves from
Exactly.
sickness.
Jamie said that I could share something that I did today on the way here.
Tell me.
I put on Jewish tefillin, you know, at a mitzvah mobile, you know, where
Okay.
Orthodox guys asked me if I was Jewish, and they said, "Do you want to put on tefillin, which is the wrapping, and it's a whole thing, and
Okay.
you say a couple prayers, and if you're Jewish, you
thrown
feel
into the mitzvah truck.
no, but it was. I feel good about it because I said a prayer, and I said a prayer for all of us and for the animals and everything that's good. Had I become at some point 10, 15 years ago religious, like orthodox in my beliefs and whatnot, and tried to instill that on all three of my children and push that and say,
Right.
well, I'm your father. You've got to do that for me. And if you don't do that for me, I'm going to be disappointed in you. And she knows that my partner, who I love, my business partner, is Orthodox. And I'm so proud that he prays and he does a lot of religious conviction that I don't do. I wouldn't expect Jamie, who follows her own beliefs, and she does a lot of hemzas or whatever they're called, and I wouldn't expect her to adapt something that I fell very consciously involved with, and expect her to follow it just because I'm doing it.
But Dad,
No.
there's a victim behind your choices when you eat
understand.
animals. It's different.
It-
It's very
there is a-
different.
there
But
is.
I get what you're
Yeah.
saying about
Yeah.
rejection. Like if a parent pushes something on the kid,
Right.
sometimes they go in the complete opposite
Right.
direction.
Right. But low key, we have been.
But
We have been conditioned to do as our parents wanted us to do, that we didn't have a choice on, and that's to eat animals
Yeah.
for every single meal.
Right.
Like even with religion, you don't realize that you're pressing on these beliefs and these societal like conditions onto your kids because you never questioned it. You might have questioned that, the religion stuff, but we don't ever stop for a moment to question about our food system
Right.
and the clothing, it's because they're profiting off of us like
That I know.
house.
And it's
And,
widespread.
and we don't even think about it when we give our kids breakfast, and we don't think about these fruit snacks. Those are processed as fuck. You know, instead of like only fruits, vegetables for snacks. You know what? They're crying about the chicken. Let's figure out a different way. Like I'm learning about all these things. I don't think it's a generational thing, but those things were pushed onto us, and we also didn't know that it was until later on. So like, I'm just so happy that you guys like don't hold on, and you're not like, why are you not eating this? Even my grandma, like, she took some time. She's like, okay, she doesn't want to eat that. Let me cook around her. Like, we are so blessed to have like family members that are not judging us and actually seeing that like, oh, at least they're doing it for the good. Let me learn about it. But
and we understand like how you guys were raised,
Right.
and how these animal products were pushed on you,
Right.
and then you just taught us what you knew
What you
with the
knew.
best information that you had. But I think that by instilling values in us of questioning the world and being confident and not just going with the status quo, like that led us to where we are today. So
right
thank
here.
you.
Look at us.
This is us.
Wow.
Yeah.
The pitchfork is for the people. Just kidding.
Right.
Not for the
No,
animals.
you're changing the world, and
Absolutely.
we both know that as fathers.
Absolutely.
And we're
We're
proud,
proud.
of you.
We're proud of you guys. You know, absolutely proud.
Yeah.
You know, every day grateful.
Well, come
for
out.
the change.
Let's go out. Let's meet them.
You know?
Let's meet them out when they're doing one of their gigs.
Absolutely.
And add to it. You know, I'll put on a
Absolutely.
little hat and a
Hey.
costume.
Okay.
Come
I'm
on,
up
I'll go
for
to
it.
Washington Square
up for
Park.
We
it.
have wigs
We
with
have
us.
wigs. I was gonna
Yesterday
say.
was Justina's birthday, and I joined the crowd. I
No,
said, you know
sweetie.
what?
You saw my happy birthday,
Let me make it
beautiful,
happen.
right? My post, my happy birthday, beautiful.
Didn't.
Oh my God! I commented. I said, "Happy birthday, beautiful." Many more.
On Facebook?
She's not on Facebook.
Yes.
Oh, that's why.
Okay.
I'm
well,
old school.
Well,
Dad and Dad.
the message is out.
The message is
The
out.
message is out. That's all that matters, brother.
Thank you both for coming on and spending time with us today.
Yeah.
It's been fun, it's been challenging, it gets uncomfortable, but these are the conversations that need to be had. And I hope that everybody listening sees we have the same dynamic that you guys have with our parents.
100%.
It's not perfect. We're trying to figure it out and navigate this together. And I think progress is a step in the right direction, and we're going to keep working on them.
Right.
You
It
will
gets-
not hear the end of us.
It gets ugly sometimes, and sometimes it brings us closer together. And I hope that somebody sees that dynamic. And it's taken us a long time to get to this table, to have these conversations, to not take things super personal, and remember that the journey just continues. So if you like the episode, share it with a family member, with a friend, a coworker that you might think that they could relate to one of our dads.
And I'm going to tell you, there's so many incredible vegan recipes because Jamie cooks up gourmet vegan meals for us. They're outrageous.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, there's no substitute.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't feel like we missed anything when we have a great
Right.
meal
Yes.
like that.
You don't
Yeah.
miss
That's the
anything.
truth.
You
And
get
I'm
to explore.
full. Yep.
You guys.
So
Satisfied?
just so you know,
Just
all
so
it
you know.
takes is effort, a lot of love, and a lot of free will to say, I'm moving forward. I'm not going to let nobody judge me, and I'm going to do what's right for not only the animals, but for the people.
Yeah. Yep,
Like,
absolutely.
subscribe, comment, tag us.
Make sure you follow JSYK podcast on Instagram. I'm at It's Jamie's Corner.
I'm at Justina.Justina.
and you guys know the drill.
We'll be back. We'll be back.